Hey, we are live directly from the warm-up show booth. This is your co-host directly from the Sunshine State in Florida. Welcome back, Mr. ENORTAP, directly from Toronto, Ontario in the north. And Canada, welcome back in the house, Mr. ENORTAP.
Good day, Coach and Hockey Nation. Great to be here as usual.
It's Wednesday, March 30, 2022. 6 game on the program tonight and 9 yesterday. And we are at exactly 32 days before the end of the season 2021-2022.
Yeah.
And 1 month from tonight, we're going to see who's going to make the playoff, who's going to play. We're going to some prediction, the bracket challenge. There's going to be a lot of things going happening until then. But so many things happening last night. A couple of surprises: the Colorado, the Toronto, the Tampa Bay, and it was like, the Dallas Stars saved their life last night. The last 20 minutes of the game, score come back with 2 goals. So a lot of action happening. But before we talk about everything happening last night and what could happen tonight, let's go to welcome everybody in the house. First of all, directly from Utah, number 1 fans for Los Angeles King. They play against the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Mr. Ron with King number 20 in the house.
Hello, Ron. Welcome.
And directly from Finland with all the inside of everything's going happening, like the goaltender and everything news around the league. It will give us everything during the time we talk. We have Mr. Jarmo Virtanen.
Moi, Jarmo.
You are awesome. Yes, she is. Yes, she's back. Directly from Ontario, Miss Kelly.
Hello, Miss Kelly.
And directly the number 1 fans of the New Jersey Devil. No, I'm sorry. For the New York Islanders, I apologize for that one over there. Welcome back, Mr. DHGWYCKED 50CL. I did all the way to the end, Mr. ENORTAP. Welcome back, DH.
Hello, DH.
From Lil Perro, the standing man comic. Welcome back, Mr. Richard Mullen.
Hey, Richard. Welcome.
He's never alone. He's always with Kaden and Christian. Welcome back, number 1 fans of the Toronto Maple Leafs, the assistant captain or the captain of the Danny T, the Toronto, Mr. Kevin TB in the house.
Hey, Kevin. Welcome.
We call him the Butterbean of the Hockey Nation Live Show in the chat. Welcome back, the moderator, Mr. Danny T.
Hello, Danny.
Yes, it's not our full name. It's just like I try to understand what it's all about. But maybe one day you're going to tell us the story about the TAG Week 50 call. Maybe we're going to see that. Who knows what could happen about that one over there. We saw a different side of Taylor Hall last night. Mr. ENORTAP, maybe we won't talk about this, about Taylor Hall and the punch happening last night. So a lot of conversation this morning. And the fact we talked this morning about the fact like nobody from the Toronto Maple Leafs did not do anything about that. So that was another conversation happened this morning. So that's what we at, Mr. ENORTAP. I don't think so. I forgot someone. If I forgot someone, we apologize. I feel like we have like 13, 15 people. There's only 7 talk. So maybe everybody right now, Mr. ENORTAP, Danny push everybody out of the building. Yet they need to get their mask or to COVID-19. I don't know what's going on. Danny closed the door at that moment. Maybe he does a verification about what's going on. Or maybe some problem at the front door. Who knows could happen during the time we are in the house and talking about everybody. But we'll see what's happening. Mr. ENORTAP, welcome back. Thanks for joining us today. 6 game on the program tonight.
My pleasure.
What's your prediction without talking about what could happen tonight? I want to know what would be your final score tonight, tomorrow when we're going to come back. I did exactly what I said the Wednesday night.
That'll probably never happen with the predictions, the way they're going.
Are you going to 6-0 tonight, 5-1 or 4-2? Or will you be happy if you get a minimum of what your expectation tonight?
I think.
You have a lot of tricky game tonight.
Yeah, there's
The San Jose, Arizona, you don't know what could happen there. The Buffalo, Winnipeg, you don't know what could happen there. Buffalo's doing well. Winnipeg tries to survive, so he's going to get out of that one. It's not an easy one. The Rangers should go through Detroit on my eyes at that moment. The Edmonton go through the Kings on my eyes at that moment. And I missed one. I don't know in front of me right now, but
St. Louis, and Vancouver.
That's a tricky one over there.
Yeah,
Vancouver is against the wall. Vancouver cannot lose any game anymore.
And to complicate matters, there's injuries too that have popped up over the last 24 hours with some of these teams. So, yeah, to answer your question, I'm hopeful if I go at least 4-2. I'm trying to go for 6-0, but hopeful of at least 4-2.
Wow, that'd be great. We'll see what happens. We have finally, Mr. ENORTAP, we have the definition of what happened with his name. It was great when he was 7th grade. My old COD video game client group I was part of. It was part about the week Shrap I watch 50 call is old Zuber I watcher. Here we go. That's what happened about that one there.
Wait, that's more confusing than
Yamos Connor Schmidt out for the Jet also with a good luck for the leave. He has they have the COVID-19, I believe, both of them for the Winnipeg Jets. So that's what we're at that moment. Let's go right away. We don't wait for anything because we are going to produce everything we need to do right away over there. It's time to what, Mr. ENORTAP? It's time for the face-off, drop the puck, introduction of the show. At the beginning, what we do, we invite Mr. ENORTAP to talk about what paid his attention the last 24 hours and around the NHL. He's going to give us some insight maybe or something. We're going to hear what he did last night about in NHL. So it's time to what? It's time to drop that puck!
Thank you, Coach. Yeah, there were, as usual, there's never a dull night in the NHL. If we start with the Montreal game, I thought it was not, I think the score complimented Montreal a little bit because they got those 3 quick goals in the second period to close that gap, or actually to tie it 4-4. It reminded me very much of the Winnipeg game where we were down 4-0 and then tied it and then lost by 8-4. I didn't think many of the players on the team skated well at all. Like, I look at Anderson, I didn't see him very much in the evening. And the guy could skate. Guys like Byron, Suzuki, Caulfield. These are all guys that could skate, and they did not meet the intensity that Florida brought. Having said that, I think Jake Allen saved their butt, even though he allowed the 6 goals. He played a very good game, allowed them to get back into it at 4-4. And the turning point was, I think that breakaway by Jake Evans that he got hurt on. You know, if he scores there, it's 5-5, and maybe it's a different outcome, or at least it goes to overtime. As it turns out, they came back and they scored shortly afterwards because just the way the events went, and there you have it. Next game, we had the Rangers in Pittsburgh. As anticipated, it was going to be a tight game with these two teams. I think really Shesterkin made some excellent saves, especially towards the end of the game when it looked like Pittsburgh was going to tie it and perhaps even go ahead. But they stayed in that and obviously did well. Then we had, of course, Toronto put in a great showing against Boston. Ended up winning that one 6-4. But again, even that, I think that score complements Boston more than anything because they scored a couple late goals just to make it close. I mean, we'll talk about that incident with Taylor Hall in a minute. Carolina and Tampa Bay did not disappoint. 4-3 for Tampa Bay. I'm not surprised, especially since Carolina was on a back-to-back. But it wasn't as easy I thought perhaps it would turn out to be for Tampa Bay. And then just skipping down a few other games, the Colorado and Calgary. Um, you know, Colorado ended up winning this game, but I thought really if it wasn't for Kemper that saved Colorado's game, it would have been a different story. I think Calgary had about 40, 45, 46 shots on net compared to Colorado's 30. I thought they played a very good game, Calgary, but, Kemper was the difference in that game. And last but not least, we had Dallas and Anaheim. A lot closer than I thought, but, credit to Dallas. They, in the end, did what they had to do. They stayed on top. I watched actually the tail end of that game late. It wasn't an exciting game at all. I thought for the most part Dallas was playing for at least the 1 point if it got to that. But they stayed on track, and there's one of the games they had in hand. They won it. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. And finally, just going back to that situation, I agree with you, Coach. I thought maybe somebody should have came in for the Leafs to sort of answer the bell, on that sucker punch by Taylor Hall. But having said that, if you rewind the tape a little bit, you'll notice that Taylor Hall's back was turned directly to Lucasian or whatever his name is on the
Lipushkin.
Yeah, and I mean, here's where my beef is, because if you look at what he did to Taylor Hall, it was two hands on the stick with the numbers right in front of him, and he gave him a cross check. And he was susceptible. His head went into the boards. I mean, he could have got seriously injured from that, just like Jake Evans perhaps did. I'm not saying that excuses anything. What I'm trying to point out here is the refereeing is not calling these newly installed rules. And that was my fear from the beginning of the year. I go, they're going to call it one night and not call it another night, and somebody's going to get hurt. And I thought that all could have been avoided. But I agree with you that afterwards, somebody should have answered the bell with Taylor Hall. Not that he would have done anything, because it's not the type of play that Taylor Hall plays. But it was an all-round bad thing. And the reason why people aren't jumping in to defend a lot of times their players is because of that third man in rule that the NHL has put in. I think you're not allowed to have an enforcer because today's game is really too fast to occupy a position for that type of a player. That's what we used to call way back when the goon. So you don't see that too often. And the players that can actually fight and play well enough that they earn a position on the third or fourth line, like a Lucic in Calgary, or Delorier in Minnesota now. Those kind of players are rare. They're hard to find. But it doesn't mean you can't go in there and just put at least a glove in somebody's face to say, kind of like what Edmonton did with Uyghur. Went in there and, sort of mentioned, he acted differently than what Petrie did when Montalban was bowled over against Edmonton, if you recall that. Nobody approached
Cashin.
His name, Cashin, yeah. So, at least Edmonton, stepped in and just, at the very least, gave him a push and said, that wasn't necessary, even though I don't think he really did anything that caused that.
Yeah, but Petrie around Cashin or Petrie around Taylor Hall is two different people.
Yeah.
Right? So you have no reason for any Toronto Maple police step out right now chasing Taylor Hall at any moment, everything, who they are, whatever they would be in the team. I have no reason they cannot do that for proof. You have a statement there just to show to Lipushkin also, hey, we are here for you, buddy. We are here as a team. It's just not to try to hurt Taylor Hall, but show respect because in 1 month and a half, maybe we're going to play against Boston.
That's right.
And if we just did nothing today, they will try again to maybe do it again, Boston. So, yep, nobody will step up anyway. Who cares? So,
that's right.
I don't know. That's maybe one thing. But we have a few people join us. And Mean Girl Hockey, welcome in the house.
Hey, Mean Girl.
From upstate New York, Mr. Jose Duarte is in the house. And we have a Blackhawks fan 97 with some update. Glad to hear that. Blackhawks with Kate is in the house. The best of the best. The red carpet is already dropped for him. He's just waiting for him to walk on the red carpet. I'm talking about Nooner.
Hey, Bruno.
From Manitoba, Winnipeg Jet, Montreal Canadian fans, we said to Colette, welcome.
Awesome.
And we said to Dan Asham, welcome back, my friend. Thanks for joining us tonight, Mr. Danny. Glad to hear from you about that one. And for South Florida, we'll call him the Rosie. But Michael Rosenblatt, the number one fan at the Panthers, is in the house with us.
Hey, Michael.
Here we go. It looked like he's getting not too bad, so great news. Great news about this. We have the scout, Mr. Alexis Dubuc. Talking about the scout. We're not talking about RJ, the insider. All the update around the league is back with us directly from New Jersey, Mr. RJ Calabro Sports.
Hey, Jose.
And then you have a question to you. Do you thought Boston was going to beat the Leaf last night?
Yeah, I thought they had the possibility of winning it. They were at home. They were 8-2-1 in their last 10 games. And the Leafs hadn't played very well. Mrazek was in net. Maybe it was a blessing that he got hurt early, and Shalgren came in and played decently. So yeah, I thought perhaps they had a chance of winning. Yeah.
From what I heard, Mr. ENORTAP this morning, is like the Boston let the Toronto winning just give them some hope until the playoffs. So that's, I don't know, but that's what he said. And,
one thing I gotta say, Coach. One thing that I did like though with the Leafs is they managed to get under the skin of Marchand, especially at the end of that second period. And I'm telling you, if Marchand can't control himself, Boston's in a lot of trouble.
The second day we said to you, with all the respect, Toronto win yesterday, right? Pasternak have 2 crossbar, have 1 post. Yeah. You know what I mean? They did well, Toronto. And it's good for them to see that one over there. It'll be interesting, you know. But again, they can win the last 17 game.
It all matters in the playoffs.
It's not matter. It's when you go start a playoff. That's what's going to be the most important thing for them. And I hope the best for them. But that's what I believe will be happening about this one over there. Mr. Joseph LANHAM from Texas, number 1 fan of New Jersey Devils.
Hey, Joseph.
And Jose talk about what happening with Taylor Hall. Should be the goon be brought back? No. No goon should be brought back, Mr. Richard. We have to eliminate those kind of people, unfortunately. That will happen the next 5-7 years, unfortunately. That's not helping,
you could have team toughness. You don't have to have necessarily a goon.
No, I think the word goon does not exist anymore. Or an enforcer is just like when you go to the playoff, that's what could happen more. But during the season, you don't need really, unfortunately, about that one over there. Because the NHL, the next 5 years, you cannot fight. They're going to game misconduct for the fight.
I know.
So that would be a Bloc Canada job for people. Coach, j'ai une déclaration, une question. Ça, moi, c'est que Ken Hughes va faire une semi-reconstruction. C'est quoi les besoins du Canadien au repêchage de free agents? Des joueurs d'avant pour les choix de repêchage et pour les joueurs et si jamais ils vont sur le EUFA et ont besoin d'argent ou ils ont cause de l'argent, ça va être un défenseur droitier et un autre joueur de centre, Alexis. Donc, c'est ce qui va, oui. They did un pas pour le prochain, he got what he deserve. They will be
You'll catch me arguing.
There we go. Glad to hear that. Well, Mr. Luciano Graziano in the house.
Hey, Luciano. Welcome.
Look like Nick will be back April 10. Glad to hear that, Blackhawks. And we wish the best of the best for you, for him, and for your family. And don't forget, guys, to click on the like. That'd be awesome. And that'd be great to go that for sure. We can maybe go for 5, 6, 7 more minutes. Ça fait quoi, RFR? Comment on vient? Yann Gianet, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us.
Welcome, Yann.
Is it all right, Yann, if we answer to you back in English? Let me know so we can talk about this in English. So just say yes or no, and Yann, so we can give you an answer. Cheap shot on bar in our tab, 1 happy hour. About that. Non, malheureusement, Alexis, c'est pas les Canadiens recherchent un joueur comme ça. Malheureusement, ça va coûter trop cher pour l'avoir. Donc, ça sera pas un joueur comme ça. D'après moi, ils vont aller chercher dans les plus bas, dans les 4 millions, 5 millions. Un joueur peut-être comme Vincent Trocheck pourrait arriver. Tout dépend comment ils vont mettre l'argent sur ça. So, Mr. ENORTAP, we have a question about from Jan. He asked, what is a RFA and how we become a RFA?
Well, an RFA is a restricted free agent. I don't know what exactly the parameters are when you qualify to become a RFA.
So you have 2 ways to do that. To become an RFA, right? You have to be 3 years in NHL.
3 years, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Or you sign a second contract.
Right.
All right? So the point is, example, like
usually that
Jordan Harris signed a 2 years contract yesterday, right?
Yes.
But when he signed his second contract, he can become a RFA. Now you have 2 kind of RFA. You have the one, it can become a RFA with, can offer an offer sheet, right? And you can also have a RFA with no close offer sheet about that one there. And then you have another one where you become you can become also a UFA after you, like Jordan Harris, if you go 2 years, but he did not reach, he reached 80 game after 2 years, but he is not his full year, so he can become a close where he become RFA with no offer sheet. So that's the difference between both of them. So one is 3 years in NHL, or you sign a second contract in NHL. That's where you start. And this is going to be on 26 years old. At 26 years old, you become a UFA, and that's the key behind that part over there. So that's really the difference between RFA and UFA. And that's the two really, honestly, the two rules to become a RFA. You have 2 kinds of RFA, one with offer sheet and the one with no offer sheet. But that's how it works. Hopefully this is helping you, Mr.
Yeah.
Jan, a great question, by the way, because I'll be honest with you, many people does not know those kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Un Zach Hammond, Alexis, il a signé un contrat à Edmonton pour 7 ans, donc il ne s'en viendra pas à Montréal, malheureusement. 25, the shot, please don't forget to slap the shot, the likes, everybody. And guys, should the NHL get tougher on cheat shot artists?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say, Richard, like they just have to enforce the rules. If you have the rules in place, they need to be enforced. That's my take on it. You know, it goes for goalies, it goes for cheap shots. You know, these things all should be reviewed when they occur through the disciplinary committee, and they should remain fairly consistent. Like a lot of times, you know, they look into things like, is there a history? Which I understand. Sometimes you're trying to decide, is it 3 games, is it 5 games? The history may play a factor in it, but an infraction is an infraction, and it should be enforced.
Yeah. Um, they talked yesterday at the GM at the about the referee and everything like that, right? And they want to mention about at some point, we'll not be surprised the NHL apply a supervisor referee overview the game. So what he does is he see everything around. Example, like 2 days ago, DJ Oshie got a 2 minute for slashing the stick of Jordan Stahl. But prior to that, Justin Stahl took the stick completely to the hands of Oshie, and the ref completely missed that one there. The both ref missed that call over there.
Right.
But it's easy for the people to see the replay, right, on the TV. But they cannot access about that, and we expect them to see everything at the same time. The play is fast. Someone can go through the view of the people. You can have all those kind of So for me, I think at some point we have to have someone outside of the overview, everything. If you miss this, call it. If you did not see this, call it. And I think that would be properly better for the benefit of every fans in the stand and watching the game, because they cannot see, the game is too fast. Like same thing with Leisman.
You're right. You're right.
Leisman at the blue line now got it right away,
Yeah.
and it's too hard. And with all the respect I have for them, the second thing I would say to you, apply the book. So the book said crash checking is this, apply it. And go from 1 to 82 game, and when the game number 1 start in the playoff, go that way. And do this.
I agree.
Now he said, "Oh yeah, but I don't want to be the guy being responsible. You are the responsible if you don't apply the penalty anyway. You don't want to change the result of the game, but the fact you don't give the penalty, but you become the one you're responsible, because now the opponent team maybe not score, and that's the game have a penalty should be on the penalty box, and now they got a goal the overtime because you did not finish Ovechkin example on the hooking at the middle of the ice. The check round on again Matthews example. Those kind of and then after that they talk about the too many men on the ice during overtime. It's happened a couple of times. For me, that'd be the best way they can apply those kind of rules like that. That would be very interesting how they're going to do that. And during the general manager, they talk about they go to increase of $1 million for the salary cap for next season. I predict Mr. ENORTAP for this summer is going to be wild. I predict this. This is going to be the wildest season, off season at any moment in hockey history. You're going to have a lot of players going to be traded. You have said that's not make sense because the team don't have no money, and they cannot do anything about that. So, example, Tampa Bay right now, Mr. ENORTAP, right now, when the season start next year, they are already over salary cap, and they not signed Padat. So every UFA they don't have right now, they are not signed, and they are already at $84 million. So how are they going to deal with this? I don't know. But you're going to see those kind of stuff you never see before in the past, to buy out, to trade for players because you want to go under the $82.5 million. So it'll be really, really wild for the next couple of months and during the off season. Expect those kind of transactions. Wow, never thought this coming. Yeah, no choice. And some players never going to be signed up the money. Like you're going to see Malkin, Giroux, Letang, Bergeron. Those guys, they're going to be below $5 million. And you're going to laugh at me right now, but you're going to see because they cannot pay those players anymore.
I know.
Because they paid the 20 to 22 to 22 to 24 years old.
And that's what makes winning the cup so difficult too. Like you can build a team properly from the roots right up to a Stanley Cup contender. And if you don't win in that window of opportunity, your young players that have become stars are gonna command a certain amount going forward, and they deserve it, of course. But the way it's structured, you can't keep them all. You have to make some moves, and it might take you right out of the window.
Yep. Of course. Francois Pitt, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. So it'll be really interesting what they're going to do for that one. They have another subject. They talk about the World Cup in 2024. And I love the idea they're going to try to make this in Vegas. And one other location. So one in Canada, I believe, and one in Vegas. I love it. This is going to be amazing. Think about this. The Sweden people, they are big fans in our type of their team. They're going to go all the way to Vegas at the parties for 2 weeks or before and after, I don't know. But I can't wait to see that. People are excited about that one for sure about that. They talk also about
qualifying.
The salary cap, the long-term injury reserve. And the problem with that one, the NHL cannot do anything because they have an agreement with the CBA, NHLPA, and the player does not want to change it. Because if they cut at 81.5, some players going to get cut and some players don't make money. The fact they go over, more people, if ever you have $7 million, the insurance pay the players.
Right.
And then when it comes to the opening, they now at 98, 97. I believe maybe they could have an adjustment for that. Whatever they want to help everybody, I think they will say, okay, we're going to go a little bit more, an extra $6 million. So they go from 82 to $88 million. After that, you cut everything. The second thing, I will go only with a roster at 23 only. Or you go at 20 players only.
Yeah.
And if you cut one players during the playoff, cannot do anything, buddy, because you $86 million you gave the players on the list right there. So what happening is like maybe, I don't know, another good player is out and you don't put him on the roster, cannot play for the rest of the playoff. So you have all the kind of stuff they're looking for maybe in 1 year to readjust that salary cap after the playoff. So
why not just have a luxury tax? If a team goes over the cap, they have to pay a stiff penalty, and that creates even revenue for the league too.
That was something they can go about that one over there. Only for the playoff, not during the season, but for the playoff. Yep. For the playoff, there'll be something like that about that. Let's move on to the next thing before it's 6:35. We're only 6 games, but we still have a couple of things to do about that. First of all, we're going to talk about who are they. We did not do it all week this week.
Oh my God!
We are behind. They are stuck in the wall and all them, and they say, wait, you never talk about us. And the first one I want to talk about is 2 players. One is easy. The other one, I'm not sure about that one over there. Here we go. And I love the board of the rink.
Yeah, I know. Look at that.
Yeah. So it's really interesting to see that. We're going to see who have this person. Thanks for everybody joining us tonight. Don't forget to click on the likes. That'd be awesome.
They should get this one.
Luciano, I try to get this. Danny, about that, Danny and Jose and Nona talking each other.
Keep it down over there.
Look like Mr. ENORTAP, you're going to say for everybody. Look like nobody knows who they are. So maybe they're going to learn about who are they. Mr. ENORTAP.
Well, it's John Beliveau and
Jean Beliveau
and Bobby Bond.
Bobby Bond, yeah, exactly. That's the one over there. Congratulations about that one over there. And let's finish with the next one over there. Who are they? And I'm talking about the both goaltender. One is easy.
Oh my God!
The another one, who is a goaltender.
I know the one on the right.
Yeah. Believe it was easy, François. Yamo, Bobby Bond, Yamo. Yep. Believe and Orton, François. Jose said Armstrong. Maybe the internet was slow about that. And Mr. ENORTAP, you're going to maybe find a way to get that second goaltender from the Los Angeles King. Easy one. I love those masks.
I know.
I would be curious what they are talking about.
Where they're gonna have steak and
what also Melash, what jersey is he? What team is he right now?
I don't know. Looks like Jules Balash. I don't know.
All right. So who is the goaltender? Rogatien Vachon. Richard said.
No. Too tall to be Rogatien.
Yeah.
I think it's Gary Simmons.
Gary Simmons, exactly. It was Gary Simmons. Talk about Lille Perron. Cleveland Baron, François said. For the team.
Sorry,
here we go. 6 game on the program, and Mr. ENORTAP, 20 minutes to go. And we're going to start right away with the Winnipeg Jets versus the Buffalo Sabres. We can wait to see what you have to talk about.
Okay. Well, after playing now 5 games in the 8 days, the Jets return tonight back to action as they.
By the way, Mr. ENORTAP, we have to stop you.
Okay.
Because we've completely forgot. We never talk about the people who win last night.
The winners, yeah.
It was Mr. Andrew Lepage. We wish him a speed recovery. Andrew is sick this week.
Way to go, Andrew.
We got the flu, everything like that. So hopefully he's going to get. He said to me today it was getting better. And Pierre Martin just joined us today. So yesterday Andrew was the only one get a 7-2 yesterday. Nobody reached a 7 victories yesterday. So congratulations for Andrew and them. You and me, we got a 6 with Yamo. Got also a 6. We have a few people got 6 and 3, and a few got a 5 and 4. Some of you got a 4 and 5. And then for the 2 score, Yamo got 2 right score. Kelly, you, and someone else got 1 score. And then the fantasy player, we have 2 people winning yesterday with Barkov. I think Yamo got it, and we have and then finally the 58 score. Me and Andrew Lepage did it again. So congratulations for all the winners last night. And then we'll see who's going to win tonight. For tomorrow, we're going to put your name up, and we appreciate about that one over there.
Perfect. So going back to our game, Winnipeg and Buffalo, like I said, they played 5 games in 8 days. Now Winnipeg has, and now they're in Buffalo. After Buffalo, they're going to be traveling to Toronto to face the Leafs on, I think it's on Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah. So they're going to be on a back-to-back against the Leafs, and it's at the heels of. The last time they played in Winnipeg, you recall they kind of manhandled the Leafs a little bit physically. And so we'll see how Toronto responds to that. I think that they need to sort of impose themselves on them a little bit more. And if they lose tonight against Buffalo and then they lose against the Leafs, then not that there was much hope for Winnipeg to get in, but that'll definitely seal their fate there. Scheifele scored both goals on Sunday to extend his own personal 5-game point streak, and it allowed Winnipeg to win its 8th game in the last 11 contests. So they've been a little bit more consistent that way, but where they lose in consistency is the kind of games that they win, you expect them to lose, and the kind of games that you expect them to lose, they're winning. So, we'll see what happens here. Blake Wheeler recorded his team-leading 42nd assist, but when he set up one of the Scheifele goals, I think it was the game-winning goal, and he's got, I think, about 7 points in the last 5 games as well. For Buffalo, well, they've been, like I said, one of the hottest teams since probably February. They extended their point streak to a season high 6 games, overcoming a 4-goal deficit with that 6-5 victory over Chicago Blackhawks on Monday. And it marked the 4th time in their franchise history that Buffalo came from 4 goals down to pick up a victory. For Buffalo, a lot of good stories here. Victor Olofsson's on I think he recorded his 3rd multi-game performance the other night on Monday. Tage Thompson's having a great year. I think he's up to 28 or 29 goals now. Rasmus Dahlin is producing as well. Skinner's been scoring. We said Pozo was having a decent year as well. I think this will be a very, very close game. I'm going to go with Winnipeg to win this one, 4-3, just because they have a little bit more rest.
Could you run 20 to give me? I think you put 3-1 or 4-1 Columbus. So I'm not sure if you can give me the score for his game. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Next, we have the Rangers in Detroit. The Rangers, they're up to 2nd place now in the Metro, thanks to the fact that they've had a little recent hot streak. They're going to try to keep that trend going when they face Detroit, who's been actually struggling quite a bit. Things haven't gone the way they initially had anticipated. They're having a hard time keeping the puck out of their own goal, even though the offense hasn't been bad for Detroit. It's just that they can't keep the puck out of their own net. The Rangers, they passed Pittsburgh in the standings last night with that 3-2 victory. The result was the New York's 3rd straight win, and they're 7th in their past 9 games. The Rangers, they recorded a 5-1 home win over the Pittsburgh Penguins on Friday, but the match was, I don't know, it was much more, I think the rematch was much more of a dramatic effect. I thought Shesterkin, like I said before, it really came out strong for them and kind of saved that game when it looked like Pittsburgh was really pressing in that 3rd period. With Detroit, what can we say? I think for a good part of the year, they were hovering around that 500 mark. There was even a glimmer of hope that they might challenge for one of the wild cards, but that never really materialized for them. They've really taken a nosedive in the past month. Since an overtime victory against Carolina at the beginning of March, Detroit has gone 2-8-2. And the latest was that ugly 11-2 romp that they took at the hands of Pittsburgh on Sunday. Right now, they're on a 3-game losing streak. And it's going to be tough for Detroit moving forward. Defensively, like I said, they've been extremely porous, especially in the second half of the season. They're allowing a league worst 3.8 goals per game. So that's a tough get. You're asking your offense to put in minimum 4 goals a night in order to win. So I'm going to take the Rangers to continue their hot streak here, 4-2.
I have 4-2. Is it 4-2, 4-3?
I have 4-2, yeah.
4-3?
No, 4-2. 4-2.
Okay.
And now we got a possible first round matchup in the playoffs here, LA and Edmonton. You know, it's a possible playoff preview. The Kings are still hurting. They have a lot of players out of their lineup. They've been struggling a little bit. They tend to win a game and then, you know, perhaps lose a game. Seems to be the pattern with them. Right now, they hold a 2-point edge over the Oilers for second place. But I think the Oilers have a game in hand, if I'm not mistaken, in the Pacific. You know, facing the last place Kraken team on Monday, they were defeated 6-1, and those kind of games really hurt because you anticipate getting at the very least a point, but possibly two, and it hasn't happened. LA had just defeated actually the same team on Saturday by a score of 4-2. So I don't know if maybe it was a trap game for them or they were overlooking this, thinking it would be easier than they thought. But in their last 9 games now, the Kings have gone 4-4-1. And they, like I said before, they've been alternating their wins. They win one, lose one, win one, lose one. You know, by that pattern alone, LA is due for a victory tonight. Although I think the Oilers, who have been hot themselves and they've won 7 consecutive games on home ice, will probably have something to say about that. Goaltending situation, even Quick and Peterson, they've been alternating them in net. Peterson did not have a great game the other night against the Kraken. So I anticipate, well, I don't know. It wasn't confirmed last time I checked. It looked like it was Peterson, but it wasn't confirmed. But they will split duty because they have Calgary coming up as well, the Kings. So I'm going to take Edmonton to win this game. This is the third of 4 regular season games between these two clubs, and I think the Kings won the first game 5-1 back in December, and then the Oilers won the second game 5-2. I think it was around February or thereabouts. So I'm going to take Edmonton to win this one as well, 5-3.
Here we go.
Great. And now we come to our wonder stories here in Vegas. We'll see what rabbit they pull out of a hat tonight. They're in Seattle taking on the Kraken. You know, what can we say? Sometimes, let's put it this way: sometimes the trades that are never made turn out to be the most beneficial. And by that, I'm referring to Dadonov, who scored in each of the 2 games since that deal never went down. You know, he's really, this could turn out to be quite a storybook ending for Vegas and for Dadonov if he does continue like this and by some miracle pulls them into the playoffs. Dadonov has scored in each of the past 4 games and has 6 goals and 9 points over the past 6 games for Vegas, which is still battling to get into the playoff spot in the West. Saturday marked the first time in Vegas history that they won after trailing by 3 or more goals going into the 3rd period. So I don't know. I think this will go right down to the wire as well, but I think Dadonov will score again, and Vegas will win this one 4-3.
Mr. Andy, welcome aboard. Can you give me the first score of your first game between Winnipeg and Buffalo? That'd be great, if you don't mind. Thank you again.
Great. And that takes us to St. Louis and Vancouver. Again, a tough game to really judge. Vancouver's not yet in that do or die territory because they're hanging around, but it's going to be a tall order for them to sort of keep their slim playoff hopes alive by repeating their last performance when they played St. Louis tonight, and they're on a second half of a home and home series with them. The Blues claimed the first game on Monday, 4-2. Um, I think they're two very evenly matched teams. The question is there enough? Because Vancouver's played more games than most of the other teams, I think by one or two, and they're trailing. I forget how much. I think they're about 3 points out of a wild card right now. It's a tall order for them to get back into this. But like I said, if they don't really come through with the next couple of games, it's going to pretty much eliminate them from any further action in my eyes. The Blues, they are currently in a playoff position, but they're not really. They don't have solid footing in there. They're 4-6-3 in the month of March. Even though Perron has led their attack, he's had like 12 goals in the month, and even Tarasenko's been heating up a little bit, and he, the other day became the 5th player in franchise history to collect 500 career points. The Blues will look to, for a repeat against the Canucks, against which they have posted a 12-3-2 record against them in the last 17 meetings. And that fact alone had me leaning towards St. Louis because they've dominated Vancouver so much. But Vancouver is at home, and I think this game is a little bit more critical to them. That I changed my mind and I went with Vancouver to pull it out of the fire 4-2 tonight.
If ever you change your mind, you're not sure, ask me.
Okay. I see you have a lot of the same scores. That's a huge compliment, I think. and last but not least, we have San Jose and Arizona, and this was one of the games that the second one actually that I changed my mind on just by looking a little bit deeper into this. While the Sharks have struggled to live up to the kind of season that they envisioned initially, guys like Timo Meier continue to meet all expectations. He's carried the Sharks really all year long, but he'll carry the Sharks into a road game against Arizona tonight, fresh off of a hat trick that he scored on Saturday against the Ducks. The game came against the Coyotes, gives Meier the opportunity to reach a career high tonight in goals scored. His 3 that he got on Saturday gave him 30 on the season, which matched his total from 2018. He's also just 1 point away from matching his career best of 66 set in 2018. So it's pretty safe to say he's going to break those records, his own personal records, that is. He's definitely one of the building blocks as they move forward. The other guy is obviously Thomas Hertl, who they signed earlier this year and extended him. He got 2 assists as well in that game. It gave him 28 for the season and 200 in his career. The Coyotes, they enter on a 6-game losing streak. which is kind of surprising because they were doing so well at one point. They were a tough team to play against, and I think they've had a couple of injuries that have set them back. They haven't scored more than 2 goals in any of the defeats in those 6 games, and they've given up four goals per match in that stretch. Guys like Clayton Keller had a spectacular run of 5 goals and 9 assists as the Coyotes went 6-1-0 back in early March. He scored a goal in that 4-1 loss to Pittsburgh on March 19th to extend his point streak to 8 games. But he left the last match with an injury in the 3rd period. So he's out of there. I think Lawson Cruz may have got it. I know he got injured for sure in Monday's game. It looked like it was a hand injury, but I haven't read anything else in terms of whether he was like a game time decision. So he might not play as well. And for that reason, that's why I took San Jose to win this game. And I think it's going to be a high scoring game because neither team right now has a very good defense. San Jose 6-4.
Mr. ENORTAP,
Yes, sir.
can you verify your sheet?
Yes, 6-4.
I have
For
4-1.
Yeah, I told you I changed that, remember? As soon as I found out that Cruz, I sent you a text. Are you ignoring my text again, Coach? I don't know.
No, because you changed your fantasy player 6 times today, so I don't know what your final score about Arizona.
As soon as I saw that Cruz and Keller weren't playing, I thought, okay, this could be a San Jose
6-4
landslide. 6-4, yeah.
All right. So, all right. Francois Pitt, he go with 34. Pierre Martin, 6-3. What your final score, Mr.?
By the way, Coach, did you get the perfect score yesterday?
I got a yes.
The totals. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. With Andrew.
With Andrew. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to take 44 for tonight.
44. All right. We have 40. We have 44 with Danny. I don't know if it's a good sign or a bad sign for you. But I go with Coach. You go today with 40. 4-0.
4-0.
Yeah.
Let me write that down.
Pierre Martin go at 36. Here we go. We have a good thing. A few things, Mr. ENORTAP. Maybe we did not talk about this tonight, and I apologize for everybody. And today's April 1st, we do a special contest for the prediction, Mr. ENORTAP.
Sounds like a good idea.
We're going to calculate everybody the standing for the month.
Okay.
So we're going to be part of this with everybody. So, example like Kelly tonight, she has 7-2. Tomorrow she's 6-4. That's called, that's called the 13-7, 6-7, and then we go for everybody. We're going to have your own standing. Everything like that. We're going to provide my email so they can follow up with us. This is only Monday to Friday, Mr. ENORTAP. So the weekend does not count for the leaderboard. Only Monday to Friday for the month of April.
Okay.
Is that right?
Sounds fun. I like it.
So we'll be happy. It was going to win the end of the April. But it's time for the fantasy. Yes, I still trade by 1, Mr. ENORTAP. I know that. And tonight I go with Edmonton, Hughes, Fox, Zibanejad, McDavid, and Tresadol.
And I will take the New York Rangers. I'll take Darlene and Barry on defense. And then I will take, this is where I made my switch. I will take Timo Meier and Panarin and Tage Thompson.
Yeah. Timo Meier, by the way, for everybody, is only count 1.5 the point he got tonight. So.
Not true. Not true.
About that one over there, Mr. ENORTAP, it's almost the end of the show already. But before we leave, we want to remind you it's time for what, Mr. ENORTAP? It's time to go on the shootout. What are you looking for tonight in NHL? And tell us a bit more what you're looking. So let's dive in right away because we have a lot of things to do tonight.
Yeah, I'm just going to focus on one game here, Coach. I'm very interested in that LA Edmonton game. It has a huge impact on how they position themselves in the playoffs. I think Edmonton has shown, quite an improvement over the last, I'd say, couple weeks, and probably even further since they really picked up Evander Kane. I think that's helped them. Their defense has become a little bit better. I wouldn't say it's great or anything like that, but I think the entire team is getting a little bit healthier. We saw Ryan Nugent-Hopkins return to the lineup. Puljujarvi's been playing well. So I like what I'm seeing from their end. They're not relying just on two people to score there. And I like LA a lot. It's just that they have their work cut out for them with all the injuries that they have. And I just don't know if I think for LA, that's the worst team for them to match up with should they meet in the playoffs, because I think they're a little bit more physical. Edmonton is. I think they're just as good skaters, if not better, and they have more firepower. So those are all ingredients that work against LA in this particular.
Yeah, I'm always
matchup.
looking for how many goals Detroit is going to give tonight.
How many goals is Detroit going to give up? Well, I said 4, but I can see it being 14 without a problem.
Let's try to 7 maybe tonight. We'll be interesting about that for sure. We thanks everybody joining us tonight. Mr. Anthony Manzano, welcome to the show. Thank you. Before you leave, don't forget to click on the likes. 35 likes, Mr. ENORTAP tonight, so that's pretty good overall. We appreciate your insight for what you do here every single time you show up tonight. Thanks again. But before we leave, I want to remind everybody, you are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. Yes, you have greatness inside of you. Yes, you are amazing. And thank you so much again, Mr. ENORTAP. We wish you an amazing, great night. We're going to be back at 7:35 tonight for the game between the Detroit Red Wings and the New York Rangers. We are looking for 7 goals. And we're going to punch the butter bean every time they score the New York Rangers tonight. Until then, of course, be well, be healthy. Find a way not only dominate your day, but find a way to dominate what, Mr. ENORTAP?
Your 2022.
Here we go. Have an amazing, great night, everybody. Thank you, Mr. ENORTAP. Good night.
What's going on now? Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I say so? We're just putting on a show. What do I know? I need to open my eyes and get a touch of that reality. Don't want another surprise.